Mike, would you offer an invocation for us, please?
Heavenly Father, thank you for this opportunity to gather together as leaders of this community of this county. Grant us your wisdom as we make decisions for the best interest of our community. Guide and direct us in all that we do. In Christ's name we pray.
Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Off to a good start.
They only pulled him out of here, Lee.
They only come in once, right? Need to clean these windows.
The first thing we're gonna do this morning, we do not have to do this, but most counties are doing it because the governor declared all 77 counties as a disaster. We're gonna sign a declaring us a disaster just for official purposes. And do you want me to read this is just a disaster declaration? You want me to read it? Okay, emergency disaster proclamation. Whereas Governor Stitt issued an executive order October 2020-07 on March 15, 2020, declaring an emergency to all 77 counties caused by the implementing threat of COVID-19 virus, COVID is the way that our meeting yesterday, to the people of the state of Oklahoma. Whereas there are many uncertainties with respect to the COVID-19, it is known that it is highly infectious and contagious, having been declared a worldwide pandemic that is now spreading across the United States. Whereas the COVID-19 have proven to be fatal to many of the elderly and persons with underlying health conditions. Whereas confirmed cases have been positively confirmed in Oklahoma. Whereas the aforementioned conditions constitute a threat to the safety, health, and welfare of the people of Alfalfa County, creating an emergency disaster situation within the meaning of Section 683.3 of the Oklahoma Emergency Management Act of 2003. And whereas it is the responsibility of the duty of the county commissioners of Alfalfa County and other public officials to protect the safety of the people and more particularly the employees of Alfalfa County. Therefore, it is hereby resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Alfalfa County that the state of emergency exists in Alfalfa County with respect to the virus, and do hereby declare a disaster area entitled to aid, relief, and assistance, and do hereby direct the implementation of the security of the Alfalfa County Courthouse, protective measures, and continuity of operations regarding COVID-19. In witness whereof I have hereunto set by my hand and sealed to this instrument on the 18th day of March 2020 at Cherokee, Oklahoma. I move we accept the declaration, proclamation. All in favor? Aye.
Jay, this just, it's to the county courthouse?
Do what?
Is this only to the county
Well,
courthouse?
we've got another one here that will concern
Okay.
in more depth. This is, we didn't have to do this
Sure.
because the governor already declared
He's already
that.
done it, yeah.
But most counties are doing it.
Just to cover themselves.
It's just something you do when you have a disaster, but usually you do that prior, not after, and the way this is done, so
I did not bring it there, but I'll have to
Just-
at least in it.
Our second deal on the agenda, the second order of agenda is, this is the measures that we have written concerning the courthouse. These are, Woodward County has already done this. Woods County is doing it this morning at 9 o'clock, which I presume they're probably done for now, to follow the same thing. Now, again, do you want me to read it all?
You don't have to do that all, but we'll all get a
But
copy.
I would like Rick to touch on the court proceedings he's got them written and he's gonna, that they emphasized yesterday.
Tammy has the same, this basically concerns the court clerk's office and the courtroom. I can either read it or I'll let Tammy because she is your
That's
court
fine,
clerk.
that's fine.
You're the lady in charge up there.
This is from the Supreme Court, Oklahoma Court of Appeals. Governor Jay Stitt issued Executive Order 2027 on March 15, 2020, declaring emergency in all 77 Oklahoma counties caused by the impending threat of COVID-19 to the people of the state. This joint order is issued to clarify the procedures to be followed in all Oklahoma district courts and to encourage social distancing and avoid the risk to judges, court clerks, court employees, and the public. Number 2, all district courts in Oklahoma shall immediately cancel all jury terms for the next 30 days and release jurors from service. No additional jurors shall be summoned without the approval of the court chief justice. All civil, criminal, and jury trials shall be continued to the next available jury docket. 3, subject only to constitutional limitations, all deadlines and procedures, whether prescribed by statute, rule, or order in any civil, juvenile, or criminal case, shall be suspended for 30 days from the date of this order. This suspension also applies to appellate rules and procedures of the Supreme Court, the Court of Criminal Appeals, and the Court of Civil Appeals. 4, in any civil case, the statute of limitations shall be extended for 30 days from the date of this order. 5, subject only to constitutional limitations, assigned judges should reschedule all non-jury trial settings, hearings, and pretrial settings. Emergency matters, arraignments, bond hearings, and required proceedings of any kind shall be handled on a case-by-case basis by the assigned judge. Judges shall use remote participation to the extent possible by the use of telephone conferencing, video conferencing pursuant to Rule 34 of the rules for district courts or other means. The use of email, fax, or Dropbox for acceptance of written materials is encouraged, except that the use of email may not be used for appellate filings at this time. If any party or counsel objects to a continuance of any matter, assigned judges are encouraged to hold the hearings in the same manner as an emergency matter. 6, the following persons are prohibited from entering any courtroom, court clerk's office, judge's office, jury room, or other facility used by the district courts. A, persons who have been diagnosed or have direct contact with anyone diagnosed with COVID-19. B, persons with symptoms such as fever, severe cough, or shortness of breath. C, persons who have traveled to any country outside the U.S. in the past 14 days and those whom they live or have had close contact. D, persons who are quarantined or isolated by any doctor who voluntary quarantine. E, if you're in one of these categories, A through D, and you're scheduled for a court appearance or seeking emergency relief, contact your attorney, and if you have no attorney, call the court clerk's office in the county where you're required to appear. All courts may limit the number of persons who enter the courtroom, judges, the court clerk's office, jury room, or any other facility used by district court. 8, this order is subject to extension or modification as necessitated by this emergency. It's signed by Noah D. Burris, Chief Justice, and David D. Lewis, presiding judge. Just for the record, Judge Engel does not want us to close the courthouse to the public.
We were instructed yesterday in a meeting that we've got it,
The district judge does, but Judge Engel doesn't. We
Right.
have 2 different opinions.
yeah, understand.
Now, Judge Engel said you had something at 1:30 today, Stan, wasn't it?
What?
Judge has something going on at 1:30 today.
He did not cancel court. He's having court right now, and he has a hearing at 1:30, and the courthouse needs to remain open so he can at least finish today.
He said
Asked-
after 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, after 2 today, or,
And then we discussed how he was going to see people, because we're still gonna have protective orders, and we're still gonna have inmates and things like that, and he still wants to see them in the courtroom. He wants them brought up on the elevator, taken to the courtroom. They'll keep them out of mind in his office, but that's.
Judge Eilers, when we were at the meeting yesterday, all the judges realize that you have your pickup orders, you know, different aspects of that for children, your violent crimes, you've got they understand that. So protective orders and that we have to do. That's part,
there's the
that's called the
guidelines.
emergency.
The Dewey County is closed their courthouse, but they're still screening folks to come in to do certain businesses that they elected to
That's
do.
not part of our deal.
No, but if you
Well,
have to
it
do
does
this,
say
they
in
give you
there
those
that we can't- The
guidelines.
sheriff's office can.
It kind of goes off what you read on that tail end of what you had, and you can use those guidelines to help protect yourself. and screen them. Same things that dispatch will screen for on calls and EMS and fire too.
I think you ought to just.
So I'm gonna read
Yeah.
outside the top, and
No,
it's just
the-
a background to what we were told
yeah, it's the
yesterday
same thing.
concerning the Department of Health and those issues. I'll drop down the part that says Alfalfa County Courthouse. The safety and security of the courthouse and personnel are the top priority of this state of emergency. With that being said, the county still has an obligation to serve and protect our community. In order for the county to fulfill its obligation to the people, county governmental business must continue. To safeguard our employees and the general public, immediate action must be taken and will include: the Alfalfa County employees are encouraged to follow the recommendations set forth by the Center for Disease Control and the Oklahoma Department of Health, which includes, but are not limited to, avoid physical contact with the public, to include activities such as shaking hands that you do not touch could be contaminated. Wash hands and use sanitizer if available. Avoid touching face, mouth, or eyes. This was pointed out yesterday in our meeting, and Marvin caught it. People back there going like this and their hair, which I don't have any, but that wasn't it, Marvin? And that's part of what needs to be avoided. Realize that you could carry the virus on your clothing and other items that were purchased. Once you return home, try not to contaminate your house by removing outer clothes and shoes outside the door. Clean items that were purchased or carried in before moving them to the rest of your house. That's general, what we were told again yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, that's what it meant. Physical security of the courthouse and safe environment is essential for the duration of this emergency. Several physical security policies have been enacted to protect operations, which is followed. The courthouse doors will remain locked at all times, with the exception of the south entrance located by the sheriff's office. So if you've got to come in, and you do, and you do, and you do, you've got your duties as essential people, that's where you will enter the courthouse.
Can I just butt in here? Is that the best way to do it with it? Because if you get it in the jail, you got big problems. You sure you don't want to use a different door?
That's the only one we can secure and unlock.
That's the only secure door we've got unless we post somebody on the door.
Okay. I just wanted to mention that. That's the closest door to the jail.
I
That's where we
understand.
really don't need the.
Yeah, I'd rather people not come through that hall either, but
Okay.
That's the only one that we can
unless you're gonna
control.
set somebody by one of the other doors to let them in.
You know, we just have to stand somebody there, and they have no way to buzz in, buzz out. This way we got the monitor, they can buzz in.
And we can use
talk to them.
the phone when they ring the doorbell,
Yep.
we can talk to them, we can ask them the screening questions before they're allowed in. I guess,
Number
I don't
two,
know.
the public access will be limited to only allow entrance for necessary and specific reasons, including but not limited to attorney-client meetings, court attendance, abstracting, limited to one abstractor at a time with prior appointment with the clerk, and we discussed that this morning. She had that figured out. Individuals are able to enter the courthouse for specific reasons, but only after being summoned or scheduling by appointment. So be very cautious about that. There's gotta be a valid reason. I know where you're gonna come from here in a little bit. If a person is summoned by an appointment or an appointment is scheduled, the elected officer of his or her designee must record that person's name and an approximate time so that you may gain entrance into the courthouse.
So you guys need to let us know.
So
What do you, I mean, what?
now
So
if you're,
if you have a scheduled appointment, so we let them know.
Oh, okay, got
So
it.
if we know the abstractor's coming, we just call you and say, let Robin in at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
I think that'd
Okay.
probably be good, or we just let anybody in.
The sheriff's staff or other designated employees will conduct a proper screening of each person before granting access to the courthouse. That is in there for the option if we need to do it. He doesn't need to check you, Valerie, or you as essential people. But some oddball person would come in that the
We're
sheriff.
just gonna have to go through a questionnaire, or, you know, whoever's there, have you been out in contact with somebody outside the country? Have you been around anybody? You know, we just need to make sure.
That's
Well,
correct.
it's the same question that we use for anyways.
So is the dispatcher's gonna, when they're buzzing people in, gonna ask these questions? Who's gonna ask the questions?
They'll get a hold of me or one of the deputies, and we'll take care of it.
And this just concerns somebody that's not essential people.
People, that's right.
And-
I mean, I know there's somebody gonna want us, so
Right.
I know that's gonna happen.
But they need to go through you before they can get in the door or have prior knowledge of, or you meet them at the door would be the best suggestion I would make. You guys got anything else in that aspect?
Y'all gonna have like a full list of numbers posted on that door, so if somebody comes up there, they can say, well, I need to talk to the court clerk, get the court clerk number on there, I mean, that way it'll get mad, start beating on the door, and Rick has to say, my gosh, we got a problem, and you had a list of numbers.
Yeah,
you
I
can
got
call
post a
them.
list of numbers on the.
And there would be one number that we already decided on, that's Tony's for delivering supplies and stuff for people that come here. His number will be on,
Yeah,
we'll
I
get.
got, I'll just put all that on one
That
thing.
would be
And
fine.
he'd already asked me to make one, so I'll just put it all on one.
Once a person is granted access to the courthouse, they will be confined to only the portion necessary to conduct their business. They can't, now, of course, that includes bathrooms, you know, that was mentioned. Yeah, but they can't wander all over the courthouse. Once their business is concluded, they will promptly exit the courthouse. Signage will be displayed on each entrance instructing the public on the procedure. Well, we're going back to, we've already covered that with the deal. Each individual officer will designate a particular place for a person to conduct business in their office. This place needs to be so that the physical separation is maintained. The physical separation, according to the meeting yesterday, was 6 foot. Our chairs were 6 foot apart in the meeting. It was a little different, wasn't it? And the place needs to be so that the physical separation is maintained. The place also needs to have the ability to be cleaned and disinfected. And I've already talked to Tony this morning with the less people in here. We're gonna make a concentrated effort, and I'm gonna contact, I haven't said anything to these two, I should have, excuse me. I talked to Lynn. I'm gonna contact Luke Haig and his firm. They completely went through the school. They've got a total complete cleaning outfit.
We need to include the jail on that.
And yes, and we're gonna see what we can get done if they may be able to come in and totally clean it. It's a
Have them
possibility.
come out there too, Jay, if you would.
Yes, I didn't mean to
No,
not
that's fine. I
include
just
you.
wanted to be sure you
Well, you could do that. You don't do anything out there.
remembered. You don't want me in charge of deep cleaning.
Don't print that. It is important to limit the number of people that enter the courthouse. If you're able to conduct business via mail, email, or fax, that would be preferred, naturally. This goes back to what was not mentioned yesterday in our meeting. We three discussed it. Rick discussed it. There was not once mentioned common sense. This is a lot to do with common sense. Right? Right. Now, this concerns the Alfalfa County Fairgrounds in a different manner. Alfalfa County Fairgrounds building. Alfalfa County Fairgrounds / buildings shall remain closed to the public during Alfalfa County's disaster proclamation, with the exception of the Alfalfa County Election Office and the OSU Extension Office, which will remain open. I need to explain that, correct me if I'm wrong. Kelly's got to stay open by the state order because of filing for offices and the election
And
coming
as of
up.
right now, we still have our April 7th election, and we'll know more on that later today. We're
Right.
still working on that.
And Tommy's got to follow the protocol of the courthouse. With his office according to Oklahoma State University. Correct, Tommy? Okay. That explains that. The staff is directed to close such facilities for events for the next 30 days. Continue operations without public access. So, they will be told for sure after this meeting, but I gave Tyler a heads up, they got a KPRA rodeo scheduled this weekend. He called me on the phone numerous times, and I said, hey, you better give your people a heads up because we're gonna close it.
So the proclamation for closing the courthouse is just for 30 days also?
For 30 days also, yeah. All employees are required to attend work during their normal business hours. This again is a fairground. With that being said, an emergency declaration and security concerns dictate how each individual officer directs their employees. There again. This is listed under the fairgrounds, but this is also concerns everybody here. The goal and access of this policy is to ensure that the county government operates through the pandemic. Each individual officer should develop their own staffing requirements. If you need to be in your office and you don't think that, I'm not picking on you.
No, that's fine.
And you don't think your other people need to be, that's your discretion as the essential person, elected official.
The only thing I worry about is like, by just being me, or we had even said something about taking turns, is, we have to have a segregation of duties. And so if you just have one person in that office, that one person is taking the money, counting the money, taking it to the bank, filling out reports, no segregation, and I think that'll bite us in the rear.
And I think if one office lets all the deputies go, all the rest of the offices are gonna complain.
Each,
Well, that's what I'm saying,
each
we'll find
individual
this
officer should develop their own staffing requirements.
Are you sending them home with pay, or are you sending them home with not paid?
Well,
How do you not pay them? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not their fault, it's
the
not our
the
fault.
only ones that's on the time clock are Riley, Tony, and Nancy.
Well, but they're
The
still
rest of-
salary.
The rest of them are salaried.
No, they're salary also. The
And-
three you just listed are salary also.
But they do punch a
Punch,
time
punch,
clock.
punch, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, your district runs a bunch of time clock
yeah,
though.
yep,
So,
same way.
is it
So
with
they have
pay
to-
then, or is it not with pay?
It needs to be
Didn't the
with
president
pay.
enact the Family Medical Leave Act
Yeah,
along with
well,
all
it's
of
not,
that? I mean, it's.
falls
It's-
under the
yeah, it's
disaster,
not
I think it's like
FMLA
the teachers,
at all.
there's a statute.
Well, that's what he's,
that
it's
you
just,
have
I
to
don't
pay
know
them.
if it's.
We have to
Pay,
pay.
but it's.
Now,
Okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, my crew told me, they clock out and go home. They've got plenty of comp time. That was, I
But
give
they
them
said
their
that at the
props.
meeting yesterday, that some of them don't. So it's
Yeah,
not,
true.
you
Right.
can't do it for one and not do it for the other.
That's why it says each individual officer shall set the requirements for their people, so.
Well, like now, if the roads are made, they can't do nothing, so they're just gonna congregate in the barns. You're just asking for
Yeah.
I would like
Yeah.
to state that, just so the public knows, I am suspending visual inspection to all properties that have improvements. So there will be no one from the assessor's office knocking on doors.
There again, that's your discretion.
Exactly,
as
but I
the
do want the
assessor.
public to know that we will not come to the doors. So I know that there's been cases of people impersonating assessors, and we're not doing it, so.
Wellness of county employees is paramount to successful operation of the courthouse. I ask each employee to be wise about their personal actions and interactions outside the courthouse. And that, when it says I don't mean I. We all know what it is. Maybe it should have said we. But anyway, it is understandable that interactions with family and friends is necessary to maintain emotional balance during this pandemic. With that being said, limit your personal interactions with family and friends that would be considered a risk of transmitting the virus. There again, common sense. That's just, and this was these things were formatted out of our meeting yesterday, and you two were there, and, no, you weren't. You were there. This is formatted off of that. This would include people that have traveled outside our immediate area, attended functions where large crowds are present, recently flown or visited an airport, or have been in contact with a person that tested positive for the virus. One of the reasons the virus is so difficult to contain is that people are contagious long before they show any symptoms of illness. There's also cases of people carrying the virus that did not develop any symptoms of illness. If a person notices or has an immediate concern for safety issue, they should notify the sheriff's office. If you have a person that you're taking care of with a filing or something, and you notice something different, don't be afraid to contact the sheriff, because we're trying to protect you and us and everybody else. We're not intending to embarrass them, but at the same time, if you're suspicious of something, our employees the same way, let's do it. There may not be anything, but there may be something. During this declared emergency, that the county commissioners spend normal time with keeping county personnel. That is, again, up to you. We're not gonna say you've gotta have all your employees, or you do, whatever. To ensure the county can continue to operate, it would be wise to make the determination that county staffing levels should be reduced to essential personnel. There again, that's your discretion, but that's a recommendation that if you can do your job with one of your people, so be it. If you can't, so be it. I understand what obligations you've got. This would allow officers the ability to schedule or alternate employees so that if something happens, the entire office does not become ill at the same time, kind of what you mentioned. It should be up to each individual officer to schedule and approve their employees' office time and schedule. In some cases, officers should be able to allow their employees to work from home based on the governor's recommendation. In addition, during the pandemic, if a person has to take leave from work or for an illness, unintentional travel violation, or possible contact with an infected person, that mandatory leave should not count toward the employee's accrued county leave time. That is it in a nutshell, right there. Now, back to, you said you had something to offer.
Well, you know, it's second half taxes due by the last day of the month. I'm okay with having a box, basket, whatever, set downstairs where they don't have to come in. That is fine with me. I don't mind that. I don't think that we should have to okay every person that would come in the door wanting to pay their taxes. I think that is unnecessary. So it'd be better for them to drop it. And I will put on Facebook, because we don't have a webpage, and say that would be what we would do, and we would be there to answer the phone if they have any questions or need to know the exact amount. We can do all that.
Some counties have extended it for 30 days.
For 30 days.
Have they?
Without a penalty.
That's something you might.
Without a penalty, yeah, because if they're paying second half, they wouldn't get a penalty until the 16th of April.
But we could,
They went,
to help
they
you
went
with-
from April, or what is it, 15th?
It's-
They
yeah.
went
To
to
the
the
30th.
next month. To the 15th.
and we can extend that another 30 days or whatever we see
So-
fit, if that is your desire.
Okay, so now, if I do that, does that include people that have not paid any of their taxes? Or like, we're getting ready for resale in June. Would that mean that they would not receive? Is it all included, anybody that owes taxes, they would not be charged interest for that extra 30 days? I mean.
If they violated